I have a very small ritual that I do every time that we start a conference. This is me, just, okay, I want you to stand up, 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 and I want you to face that way, okay, great, and open your hands and massage the one that is in front of you. Super. And now on the other side, because we need to share. Great. And now a huge applause to yourselves in order to start the day with energy. Come on, come on. And you can sit down. Super. And I want another really warm welcome to phone in order to introduce our special guest today. Okay? Come on.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us for our official first day of the conference. For our opening remarks, I would like to introduce our distinguished guest, Dr. Chaichana Mitpan. He is a Deputy Executive Director of Electronic Transaction Development Agency, or in Thai we call EDDA. He heads the Thai CERT and Digital Forensics Operations and Supervisor Policy Research and Development Team responsible for, very importantly, promoting electronic transaction in Thailand. As a member of several subcommittees of our country, electronic transaction commissions, he also contributes making enabling laws and regulation that foster the secure environment for electronic transaction. He has over decades of experience in this field in digital communications and also information security. He received his bachelor degree, master, and PhD degrees in electrical engineering from Rice University in Texas, the University of Michigan, and also the University Duisburg-Essen in Germany, respectively. So please give him a big round of applause and please welcome him onto the stage.
Swadee. Good morning. I hope you felt good about the ritual this morning, which is very good for digital economy development, because I'm not sure if you are having office syndrome. A little bit of shoulder massage is good for that. Thailand is hopefully working on digital future ourselves, and today we are using AI and cloud and other technologies. Who is actively using AI in their lives? Everybody. So why are we here today? Do you need to transform yourself? Maybe yes? Really? I thought you already did. Still more work to do. But we hope that this event will help create a network of experts, of young entrepreneurs, policymakers, to drive the development of digital economy, at least in this region. Thanks to the Digital Communication Network Global and World Learning to host this event. And Thailand is very glad and humbled to be the host country for this event as well. As you see that we are using AI actively. Now, with the Gen AI and the chat interface, help facilitate our use of AI, and the cloud services help AI technology reach everybody that can get access to the internet. But still, there's a difference between haves and have-nots. For example, you can get access to free version of generative AI, but you can get the advanced version with some payment. How can we reduce the gap? The government would play a crucial role providing infrastructure and basic access. For example, the government needs to provide infrastructure, for example, cloud infrastructure, not meaning that the government provide the cloud services themselves, but enable the collaboration between the private and the public sector to share, to co-create the cloud infrastructure for the country. As for the AI technologies, in our Mekong region, Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Vietnam, and Thailand, we have our own languages. We have our own cultures. How can AI learn about our languages, our culture? AI learn from content. How much content do we have on the internet for AI to learn compared to English language, compared to Western cultures? Very, very little. How can our network help enable data sharing, data flow that allows AI to be more efficient and more effective in our culture and languages learning? What kind of risks that come with the use of AI? Do the governments have to take control if we see the risk? Or should we wait and see how the technologies are being used, how that would benefit the normal people? These kind of issues need to be decided collectively. Maybe not by individuals or individual stakeholders. And I believe that for AI and digital realm, both private and public sectors are trying to strike a balance between promoting the innovation, research and development, adopting the technology, and controlling the risk. In ASEAN, Thailand and all of the countries are members of ASEAN, we have been working on AI guideline to make sure that the implementation or adoption of AI is aligned with some kind of ethics. I believe that most of the countries in the ASEAN member states or of the Mekong region in the state of wait and see. What can we do with AI? What kind of risk that come with AI? Thailand as well is in that position. Maybe I share what we are doing in Thailand, and then I can maybe later learn from you what you're doing in your countries, so that we can help develop AI in our region for better use. As I mentioned before, Thailand is still in a wait-and-see state with respect to AI regulations. We have been preparing our countries with the cloud-first policy to enable both the government and the private sector to get easier access to cloud services, maybe at a cheaper cost. With that infrastructure, we hope to be able to deliver digital services to both the government and the private sectors, and also to the individuals. On top of that, we hope to help individuals in Thailand learning about digital technology based on digital literacy. Now Thailand has the hottest issue is the scam, call center scam. It's part of the bad things that come with the use of technologies. And we are fighting against that. So digital literacy is a very important component of digital adoption and digital empowering of our people. We hope to be able to vaccinate our citizens through our community networks, which has more than 1,000 locations in Thailand, connected through our digital network. We are trying to encourage the use of technology, including AI technologies, in those communities through our digital community centers, with partnerships, of course, with the private sectors and also government organizations. You all can be a part of that network. We can share the knowledge, how we disseminate the knowledge to the communities. What are the challenges? How you deal with it? How we deal with it. As for the more advanced technologies such as AI, we set up an AI governance center in order to monitor the risk or the incidents based on the AI deployment. Once we observe the high risk, we have the reason to impose necessary measures to mitigate the risk. And that's what we have been doing for different types of technology, which is digital platform services. Platforms in Thailand has been used in a good way to generate digital economy, but it has also been abused for the scam. And that's why recently we have been issuing some regulations on digital platform services in Thailand, which is based on the complaints, on observations, and on the risk. We hope to be able to do the same for the AI technologies. So we are setting up an observatory for AI incidents. And hopefully we can do that in our countries and share that information and share how we deal with all those incidents. And then we can maybe come up with how we can mitigate the risk. What are the roles and responsibilities of each of the parties in the AI value chain, from the developer, deployer, user, the government, the NGO. Once we know our roles and responsibility, maybe we can come up to some agreements of how do we want to regulate AI. And I think with this network, we can achieve this kind of goal with participants from the young leaders, from the policy makers. We have all aspects, and maybe you can reach out for further views from other stakeholders. I have to really thank the Digital Communication Network Global and World Learning for organizing this event in Thailand. And in June this year, Thailand will co-host the Global Forum on the Ethics of AI 2025 with the UNESCO. You all are welcome to join this event in Bangkok between 24th and 27th of June. And if you have ideas, we can potentially co-host side events with that event as well, discussing different topics related to the use of AI. For example, AI in trade, automated contracting, that has been discussed in the UNCITRAL, UN Commission on International Trade Laws, for example. Or maybe AI with misinformation and disinformation, deepfake. AI with privacy, data leakage. AI with copyright. There are several issues that need to be discussed, but maybe not resolved within the near future. But discussion, dialogues helps us understand each other more and create trustworthy environment for the growth of digital economy of our region. Thank you for being here today. Thank you.
I will also call Vlad Spencer and Mariana Tanaya in order to have a picture. Phone, can you join us? And then we will continue. In the States in order to have a small conversation around what is DCN. So,
tell us, how many of you participated in a DCN event before? Raise your hand. Okay. So roughly.
Who are the newcomers?
Majority, yeah?
Ooh.
Excellent. That's very good.
Okay, that's
so I
good.
think that, Mariana, if you could tell a little bit about DCN. We'll do a very brief introduction of DCN and this event. And then towards the end of this event tomorrow, we'll meet again. And we'll talk specifically about what we can do together. So, a few words about DCN.
Very shortly, DCN Global is a thriving community of over 20,000 digital professionals coming from varieties of industries and backgrounds. These thriving communities spans the globe, with thriving communities in East Asia and the Pacific, in Europe, in Latin America, in Africa, and this global reach gives us the opportunity to share ideas, to build all these connections, and to create opportunities for our members. This year we celebrate our 10-year anniversary, and since 2015, DCN was built on a vision of fostering a world where the freedom of expression thrives, where all people are empowered by understanding all the transformational digital technologies, and of course, where global collaboration drives meaningful progress. These 2 days we will have a great opportunity to talk. We invited amazing speakers in order to discuss all these very impactful topics. And my advice, let's say, my hint to you is to talk to as many people as possible, connect with other participants and with our speakers, share what you do in your countries, and let's find as many ways to collaborate all together.
So I want to first of all to thank our keynote speaker. An amazing introduction, very good way of setting the tone and setting, kind of describing the environment for what we are supposed to do. Towards, I don't want to take too much of your time now, about how you should handle this event. So it's called a conference. It's actually not a conference. It is an informal working environment where you should, obviously attend sessions, participate as actively as possible in these sessions. But at the same time, one thing that is specific to this event is that all speakers, most of our speakers, will stay with us for the 2 days. We have events and we have socials, we have a dinner, we have all kinds of other opportunities. So please, as Mariana said, reach out to them, reach out to DCN staff. Mariana, Dimitris, you see the production team, Anna there, in the back you see Alisa and Diana, and there are some others. What we are trying to do is to figure out together with the speakers and with you, what can we do together? At the end of this session, we're going to create a hub. A hub for DCN Global is an incubator, an accelerator of projects that you conceptualize, that you might have started, that might need either some technical support, not financial support for now, but technical support, and at the same time, an opportunity to scale it, because DCN is global. Yeah. So we want to hear from you, specifically, what you have in mind and where do you think this collaboration could go. Speakers actually have the same type of approach. So let's use this as a working ground for us to, one, figure out what needs to be done, and secondly, figure out how to do it. And towards the end of the 2 days, we're going to get together again, and we are going to specifically, concretely talk about ways to explore the future in ways that are productive. Because as our keynote speaker said, this technology is something that is going to empower your generation, that presents opportunities and challenges, and it's a major transformation that happens in your lifetime. And you are at the beginning, most young leaders here, you are at the beginning of your professional lives and your lives in general. So these technologies are going to define what will happen in the future in ways that you cannot even imagine. So what we are trying to do together here is try to imagine together what's in the future, but at the same time how to work together in order to handle this future in ways that are productive and useful for the young generation. So thanks for being with us, thanks for taking the time to be with us, and we'll hear from us here and there from time to time. But let's use this as a ground of reaching out and talking and connecting, because that's the only way to make this event meaningful. We don't want this to be only one one time when we met and we maybe had a good time and nothing happened as a result of it. We want to make it meaningful. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And I would like to start the program with our first presentation, and I want you another round of applause to welcome Josh in order to start the presentation. Okay?
Thank you. Good morning, Swadika. So, thank you very much for the opportunity, and congratulations again for the 10-year anniversary for DCN Global and also World Learning. So, my name is Aditya Saputra. People in Australia call me Josh. Josh is an abbreviation of Joshua. So, people in Australia like to abbreviate. So, just call me Josh or just call me the bald collar guy. So, if you don't remember my name later, right? Okay, so before I start my presentation about the skills that we need, right, in the AI-empowered digital transformation, I would like to tell a little bit the story of my background. So I started my first AI project in 1990s. So the first thing that I was trying to create for about 1 to 2 years is actually I created an expert system that can actually analyze the aerobic physical fitness of a person. So for this project, I didn't have a background in data science, but I collected thousands of data from medical examination, and I got the data to be verified by the doctors. A lot of steps that I need to do in this medical field, and then I turned this using my machine, my program. So this machine can actually mimic how the doctor analyzes physical fitness of someone. But guess what? Now 2020s, what happened? Has anyone, can someone guess 2020s, what did Apple do? Anyone? What did Apple release? Any? Yes? No, not the Google. Apple Health. Right, Apple Health. So basically, you have the wearable technology that can do similar thing that I did in 1990s. Now, remember 1990s, I was not aware. I was still in Indonesia. I was not aware of any patent or anything. But can you imagine, if I patented my ideas in 1990s, I could call Apple, hey, I have a patent. How much are you going to pay for the royalty, right? But now you are all here, have the opportunity to learn about this, not doing the same mistake that I did in 1990s. It was just my passion, my project to make this, right? But then you learn about a lot of things here. You have the opportunities. Well, back there, I didn't have opportunities for that. Even one of the Gen Zs coming to me, well, you did that in 1990s. By the way, there was no internet at that time. Internet was not normal at that time. How did you get through implementing one of the AI project, not the simple one, but the one in medical field. And I was just thinking, oh yeah, you're right. You know what I did? I read a lot of books. And I tried to contact different kind of professors from different worlds, not by email. Of course, at that time I didn't use email. I write to them, right? And of course, a lot of things. And that's why it took 1 to 2 years, not only because of the data collection, but also for actually developing the application. But this actually show that what AI has done today can actually shorten a lot of things, right? But the skills that I had at that time still enable me to move forward. Now, let me move forward to 2006. Now, Dr. Unisari there and I did a comparative study in Finland and in Indonesia. So what did we do? We tried to compare how can the mobile ICT actually help students to learn. So basically that's what we did. We did the comparative study. And then you know that Finland is the #1 OECD country with the best outcome for education, right? And then Indonesia still probably one of the worst in the OECD country. So we tried to compare the best or maybe one of the worst. And then we learned something. Well, ICT technology has changed over the years. Now we are in 2025. And you know what? Last year, Finland just decided no more gadgets, no more smartphones in the classroom, right? If you know about Denmark, it's also another Scandinavian country, they have removed or banned the smartphones in the classroom. So that happened, we learned, so they did that based on the study. So they didn't that because of things didn't work out, right? But they say that the impact or the outcome of the learning is not very much different with the smartphone or with the technology with laptop or anything, right? So that happened 2006, so it's about 20, 30 years. Now, what we have learned from these two of my experience is that AI maybe become a boom after ChatGPT released the first version to the wild about 2 years ago. So we will see in the 20, 30 years the impact that AI will have on our society. And maybe the government say, oh, I'm going to ban AI for under 16 or something like that. But now we should have learned from our history. Okay, so this technology actually advanced in different ways. So now I believe it will be shorter. You see, the first time it was 30 years, 20 years, probably in the next 10 years, then the government will say a lot of things. Because the difference is that now with the internet it's going to be different. So I think they need to talk about internet like electricity or water at this time. I believe so. I use AI every day for different kind of things. Now, I would say, I see that this will bring us what actually the skills that we need. So when I prepared this presentation, I took the picture of this Lego lady. So I went to Lego store, and then I saw this lady was trying to actually push a tray into a Lego-like structure. So basically, Lego designed the structure of the storage to be like Lego, where you can actually pick and choose the Lego bricks inside there. So the lady tried to push this for 5 minutes. And I was just trying, what was she trying to do? 5 minutes just to put this inside there. Of course, she had difficulty with fitting the tray. And I was thinking, now we are in the digital transformation era, right? So we actually have a similar analogy. When we have the Lego bricks, we want to design something. So we have different kind of pieces. We have different kind of skill. So this is what I'm going to talk to you about. And first of all, I want to make this to be interactive. So you have to get your mobile phone ready, because I want you to answer some questions, right? I want you to answer some questions that I want you to be able to, if I can get this moving. Is it moving or not? Yeah. So try to answer this question. So the format is going to be here. So while explaining the 7 skills, I want you to try assess. You don't have to publish yours, but it will actually come up here if the Mentimeter works. How many people actually can answer this question? So this one is not about right and wrong, but it's about your confidence of using generative AI. And I will relate this later with what we have in the data or the research. So I give you probably 30 seconds if you can answer this question, and we should actually see the results, hopefully. Has anyone put it? Yeah, probably. Can you refresh to see the result? The browser? Yeah, alright, okay. So we got the result. So we have here 38% says that now they are quite advanced, design or develop Gen AI tools. 26% say want to participate. So actually in this crowd, actually we see that most of them are in 38, mostly you are on the other X, which is actually quite rare, right? So if I can guess, many of you will be in the Gen Z, probably some millennials, right? So let's see what the research says about this. Okay, let me just, that's too far. Okay, so this is based on the research in October or November 2024, right? So millennial is actually the one who is most confident, right? If you are millennial, probably that's why, right? So this will have to change, probably. Now we have the Gen Z here. It's actually not the one who is the most confident, but I can see that the Gen Z is going to be developing more, and then we want to see, maybe if we do this again in another 5 years, this will change, right? But we'll see. But at the moment, this is what we have about the confidence. Now, we want to say, okay, that's too far. Okay, so I'm going to explain about the first skill that we need, right? So before that, I want you to answer this question. Try again and see what your answer is for this question. So we have a data set of employee performance. Let's say you're working in a company and you find that employees with higher tenure have lower performance scores. What could this indicate? So this is this real life scenario. If you're working in the HR, or if you have a small company, or if you're the boss and then you see this data, and what would actually tell you with this problem? All right, okay, can we refresh please? Thank you. Alright, so 38 said there might be a problem with the performance evaluation system. 28% new employees are motivated, 22% say long-term employees are less productive, and 30% the data is likely incorrect. Okay, so let's see what's the answer for this one. Okay, so the answer is actually the data may be incorrect. Okay, because required inspection, but if the data is correct, then the next thing to look is at the validity. So there's no right and wrong answer in this. So if the data, because the problem that we have, especially in the digital transformation, where we do not know whether the data that we receive is actually already correct, right? Assuming all that part has done, the data is already correct, then the next thing is probably there's a validity of performance evaluation system. So this is what we call the data literacy. So this is one of the skills that is required for AI-empowered digital transformations. So data literacy is the ability to read, interpret, critically analyze, and communicate. So end to end, that is data literacy. And we have to work on evidence base in a company or in a business setting. So this is one of the skills. Now let's move on to the next one. Now, if we want to try to build our data literacy skill, we first need to acknowledge. Now, there is a research saying that now 11% of employees feel fully confident. So only 11% means there is a gap in, let's say this applies to each organization or company. So there is a gap. So first, as a company or an organization, we need to understand there is a gap. Before we can identify that there is a gap, we cannot go to the next one. And then we need to build, why do we care about the gap? Because if you have this data literacy, basically based on the research, you can improve your income, right? By 11,000 US dollar per year. That's quite a lot of money per year, right? So I think I just spoke to Matt before this session. Where's Matt? He's doing a work on in Thailand, which is quite interesting because he said there is a shift of values of people from the traditional Thai values to the modern values, right? So this is one of the driver of the change for everyone in an organization to be on board with this data literacy. And then of course we need to implement and then we evaluate, right? So that is the progression. Now the next skill will require you to be able to answer this kind of question. Can you please answer this question? Alright, good, okay, can we refresh please? Alright, whoa, 49% answer the chatbot is an example of AI, 51% updated, 36% say all of the above, alright? So this is very important because one day someone came to me and then he told me this, right? I've been working in AI for so many years. Okay, so now I design autonomous vehicle, this is still in the simulation stage, that can actually detect the route and working by itself by detecting the color of red and blue. Right. Now, when I talked to him, I was wondering, and then he said, this is an example of my AI application. And I was asking, wait a minute, is this really an AI application? Because you can implement this application without an AI. You just have to use rule-based. Okay, if there's a red color, you turn to the right. If there's a yellow color, you turn to the right. You don't need an AI because there's no data that needs to be learned. They just have to follow the rules and you can program the rules. So that makes this different from another AI application. Now, the next skill, okay, before we go to explanation of the next skill, so the answer is actually the chatbot. So if you answer all of the above is correct, then they see something that we need to work on. So we need to be differentiating between the AI application and non-AI application, which we do not have to complicate things, right? Now, this is the skill that we need, is the AI technology literacy. Of course, this is what we heard. Everyone say, oh, we need to be able to do the, understand the AI, but this is actually not as simple as say, oh, we learn about all things, but we also have to understand which AI technology, which is practical, and we have to know the concept and the capabilities before we say everything is AI application. Okay, so we need to understand the benefits, the limitation, the risk, and why we need to know, because this is very important. 2022 research says only after 25% of the people in organization on board with the AI adoption, now then the organization can only get the return. 25% is quite difficult. You know, if you have several projects, you know that the adoption of a project may take a while, and 25% is not an easy task. But this means that this, if everyone in the organization at least have the understanding of AI concept, capabilities, doesn't have to be a machine learning engineer or doesn't have to be an AI expert, right? So this is what I'm going to present that we work together this afternoon in the workshop. But basically, this is the gist of it. And then when we need to upskill the AI technology literacy, first we need to understand the capabilities and then the opportunities, and then we need to start focusing. So we're not learning about everything. So let's say you work in accounting. What kind of specific AI skills that we need to develop? I'm not going to bother about developing my AI skill in manufacturing because I'm working in accounting. That's my role now as an accountant. How can I upskill my AI skill? So that you can be sure of that is required. Now, this is, I think I skip this one. So this is the next question that you need to answer. So let's say you are to improve customer satisfaction, and then you have access to customers' feedback and sales data, website analytics. What would be your first step? Of course, there will be some steps, but what would be your first step? Okay, you can refresh now. Alright, customer satisfaction. Okay, 60% look for patterns in customer feedback to identify common issues, which makes me happy. Because that's exactly, 59 now is, sorry, going down a little bit, but that's exactly what you need to do. Because we identify the common issues by looking for patterns in customer feedback. Now this kind of skill is the analytical thinking. Now the analytical thinking is very important, right? So we need to have logical reasoning, we need to have critical evaluation, we have to have creative problem solving skills. So this is all in analytical thinking skill. And it's not just me saying this is important. Now, if you were in the World Economic Forum or see the data, number one on the top, core skills 2025 is analytical thinking. Analytical thinking. So this is also the skill that I need 20 years ago, that I used 20 years ago to implement AI, had my ideas, but we need this. And the next one, the next skill, try to answer this one, please. So if you are to build a team for an AI-powered digital transformation in your organization, right? What would you do? All right, we can refresh again. Thanks. Yep, this one. Thank you. 83. Okay, so 83%. You can put present now. Yeah, 83% says that ensuring the team includes both AI experts, business domain experts, environmentalists, and humanists. Now, before I give you the right answer, so let me show you what we did back then. if you are familiar with design thinking or brown elements of innovation, there are three. So the first one is the desirability, viability, and then the technology. But we expand that in 2020 because especially with the COVID that has changed everything at that time, we add two more, which is the sustainability and also the impactability. Because we understand a successful product, successful innovation is not because individuals use it, but we also have some case studies, especially in Asia, where the collectivist nature is built into the system, built into the ecosystem. So it's not just from the Western point of view, when it works for me, I don't care about others, right? But in Asia, well, it works for me, how about the community? How about the society? So we always think that in Asia that collective human is also as important as individual. So we add this element and also with the sustainability. During COVID, I remember our environment is getting a lot better, less pollution and everything, things coming backward after the post-COVID. But this is not something that we can actually bargain again. We need to start thinking about sustainability or environment. So we put this as the element of innovation. Why this is important is because we want to get, can I move to the next slide? Try to get it. Can you help? Yeah. Okay. Because we need a diversity in a team. So that's why we no longer, I'm not talking about the silent digital transformation, we need the collaboration of diverse team. Now, one of the research that I just found out about, so let's talk about, diversity is very complex, right? But 2 weeks ago, I attended a conference and then there was a presentation of gender diversity. It's only one variable, male and female, right? Male, female. And they, this is based on the study on students, right? So mostly about your age or, about Gen Z age. Now, the student is actually divided, so this is the longitudinal study. It's not just one time or 1 year, longitudinal study. So they've tried out with different combination of student team. So there are three kinds. So the first one, all female. The second one is all male. The third one is mixed gender, right? So from this experiment, and then they got the result, the best performing team based on the gender, we do not see the other factors, we just see the mix of the gender, is the mixed team. And from the mixed team, which is actually the highest performer teams, they see again, what kind of mixed team? And they saw this result, which is quite interesting. So the highest performing teams are all led by women. Alright, mixed team, highest performance team is all led by women. Now, if you see that we heard about women empowerment, we heard about different kind of things, this is one thing that we need to start thinking. Yeah, so diversity is definitely important. So that's why digital transformation needs a diversity. Now, we have the next one is the skill. The number 4 is AI augmented leadership. Because as a leader in digital transformation, you have to decide who works in your team, who you want to work with. That will be your responsibility. Of course, this is 1, 2, 3. Is the traditional leadership, but we look at the right here. Look at the AI augmented leadership. Now this is from the survey, from the potential project. So respondents say leaders who are rated, so basically it's very subjective, who are rated in awareness, wisdom and compassion, excel at key augmented leadership skills are the leaders who are able, number 1, to provide context. Number 2, able to identify content. And number 3, able to lead with the heart. Okay? I know for some of you who were present in the in the Philippines conference, I think Dr. Yunis was talking, answering a question. So the question was, what should we do to retain the Gen Z in our workforce? Because they leave after 1 year, leave after 2 years. And the question is actually very genuine. Now, you can see this as half full or half empty glasses, depending how you see it. But Dr. Yunis' answer was very wise. She said, okay, if you love them, you let them go. Alright? So basically, you can do whatever you want, but I think the most important is you as an organization trying to grow them. Okay? Most people leave the company, there's another survey, it's not because of the money, not because of that. Most of them is because of the leadership. Now, if you are in digital transformation, you are the leader, you need to be able to use AI to augment your decisions, making your team, and this is one of the things that is required. 1, 2, 3, the most, and then of course asking good question and everything. But this is all what you need to be able to start leading with AI. Right? Let's go to the next one. Let's answer this one. Machine learning. Now, how would you explain the concept of machine learning to a non-technical stakeholder? So you don't have to be an AI expert, as I mentioned. But how do you explain the concept of machine learning? Let's say you're not an AI expert, then you have to explain. How do you explain? Alright, we can refresh again. Thanks, Anna. Sorry for the manual work. Right, so we got all of the above or the most, let's say, all of the above. Alright, so the good thing is most of you answered the right thing, which is all of the above. So basically, you can try to communicate about AI in different 5 more minutes. Okay, I'll rush through. So basically, this is an example. You explain about predictive AI, like weather forecast, and hopefully this is the last one. I don't know if someone counting, is it 6 or 7? But try to do this one. I'll just go through quite quick. All right, we can refresh again now. Thank you. So this is about the recruitment, right? So when we use an AI to recruit, so I just one of someone that he's now VP in Japan, and he's developing this AI recruitment system. So this is very important. So ethical consideration. So we have make sure that this is actually we are going toward the trustworthy. The problem with the AI system that we have now, not all of you trust it. There's something what we call anthropomorphic version of hallucination and everything. So we need to try to build trustworthiness. And then we heard this morning about the Thailand's regulation with regards to IT, cybersecurity scam and everything. So this has gone into this AI ethics, and this is the skill that you need to understand for the last one. So this is the last one. So well, let's just do this one as the last one, and I'll just go through the rest of the presentation. Okay, we can refresh this for last time, hopefully. Right, okay. So so if, let's say you are in the position, so I was wondering what your answer is. Mostly would say develop a plan. Okay, so this is actually quite good. So most of you answering is develop, mostly, but you see some of you say that we need to improve data quality as the first thing. Okay, so this is chicken and egg, but basically the answer is actually both of them. So I'll go through this. So this is the one that the last skill that I want to present to you, which is adaptability. And then this, I'm not going to go through this one, but you will see here actually this is the second skill, core skills in 2025 that is required,
which is resilience, flexibility, and agility. Now, we have had these 4. This afternoon, I'm going to do a hands-on workshop on this, we do 7. I'm going to apply this one in 3 scenarios, which is the social media, customer churn, and product efficiency in manufacturing. If you're interested, please attend. And then there is, for this, I will give 5 this koala keychain. I'm not sure it's a keychain, I think it's a clip that you can have it if you participate. And I hope that you have enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, without any further ado, we will ask Melissa to come on stage in order to continue to our next presentation.
Not really. Ah, there we go. So now we can do things. Thank you. Awesome. Oh. All right. So thank you, everybody. I'm so excited to be here with you today. The name is Melissa Armas. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. The accent is from Venezuela. And what I do is I build intentional frameworks for data modeling, which is AI. Let's get going. Okay, so but first a little context, right? Let's set the stage. Today I want you to be prepared to engage, and also today and through tomorrow. The idea is for you to interact with those near you, with the speakers, and with the organizers of the event. Let's remember that leadership is about being curious, humble, and being coachable. We need to remember that we don't know everything and we're here to learn. The other thing is that generous innovation starts with an open mindset. We're going to talk about generous innovation today. As we think about innovation, I want you to think about your superpower. Think about your superpower. What is your superpower? It's the thing that comes naturally to you, that can be a gift to others. It's something that you can do because it's the thing that you do. So for instance, for me, my superpower in life is that I can fall asleep about anywhere. So pretty much it makes me a good traveler, right? Now when it comes to business, my superpower is that I can connect the dots. I can see two and put them together. So when you're thinking about your superpower, think about that. I can put 2 and 2 together. It's a very simple answer. It doesn't mean to be a complete dissertation. It needs to tell the one that you're giving it to, hey, I can do this for you. And they will tell you, tell me more. So today, as we go through these next 28 minutes, I'm going to ask Dimitri to help me out, and we're going to ask a few of you to give us what is your superpower. And as we get started, the next big question is, ask yourself, what kind of ecosystem do you want to build here in the Mekong region? And we're going to go about collaboration and intentionality and impact, and we're going to have that idea clear at the end of tomorrow. Now, building an intentional innovation is a lot of things, but it's a lot about culture. For instance, innovation doesn't thrive in isolation, and this is a paraphrasing a bit from one of my communities, and that is Venture Cafe. Actually, I came here on Saturday, what day is today? From Tokyo, because I was attending Venture Cafe's global gathering, and it's the second one. And Venture Cafe is an incredible organization that has been around for 15 years. It started in Cambridge. It's about innovation. It's about collaboration. It's open to all entrepreneurs and idea builders and makers in many locations across the globe. It was incredible to be in that event on Thursday. I was so thankful for the serendipities of being able to be in the region and attend. And when we talk about collaboration being more than competition, we talk about building those connections that help us think better and do things and support us. And speaking of support, today actually I have two folks from Venture Cafe that I just met in Tokyo from the global community, and they happen to be in Bangkok this week, and they're here to meet you all and to support my speech today. So thank you. So collaboration is more than competition. This means that we're sharing spaces, we're building impact, and we're also thinking about the culture that we're wanting to build. Because when we share what we have more to go by. Now you're already halfway there when we're thinking about how do we build strong communities. We think of resilience. And resilience is very important. Josh touched on resilience. And to me, resilience means the combination of patience and fortitude. And these are the two lions actually in the front of the New York Public Library. So today you're here, and that is have the effort. You're here, and it's a big win because you're making things happen. Now, strength in perspective has to do with what you bring to the table, what your background comes and provides to the project that you're building. And it has to do not only with surviving, but also thriving in adaptation. There's also the thought that when you are thriving in a project, you build the project with different types of strengths. So you are here, you are global, you are very similar in many ways, but you bring many different types of adaptation to the table, and that is very important. And this room that you are in now, it's built by that strength of perspective, but also has the people that's going to build your projects with you. So just look around you. You're going to be ready to do many big things in the years to come. So let's get to the bottom line. Before we jump into leveraging tech for the regional impact that we're going to build, I want to ask the first person, who wants to share their superpower? So my superpower is I can put 2 and 2 together. Nobody? Do we tell? Yes? I can see people talking. I see people talking there. Who?
Do we have a volunteer?
Do you need to be voluntold? We can do that.
Okay.
There you go. Thank you.
Hello, I'm thinking that I can paraphrase the very complex idea into human talking.
That's
Yes.
great.
I think that's my job.
That's an incredible superpower because we need to humanize the tech speak, right? We need to help everybody understand how do we build things and why are we building it and what's the goal of those. Anybody else want to share right now? Oh, we have one behind you, Dimitri.
Hello everyone, I'm Andes from Indonesia. My superpower is the biggest of I'm a content creator though. I think my superpower is about a storyteller. So basically, in social media, we really need to have a good storytelling so people not skip your content, right? So yeah, that's my superpower. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. So you see, it is important for you to know what your superpower is today. And your superpower might change with the years, right? You might learn new skills, it might evolve, you might go into different projects, but it is important to see and know what is the thing that you do and what you bring to the table. Now, when we're leveraging tech for regional impact, we need to go from the talk, from passion to action, right? And tech is a bridge. Tech is not the end-all be-all. It's not going to be the thing that we are going to build. Tech is the tool. Tech is the way to get somewhere. And when we're talking about technology in this ecosystem that we're talking about, which is the Mekong region and communities that need support and need the bridging of digital skills, we come about the concept of building impactful ways to communicate with those who are going to receive the change that we are promoting. Because the question is not only what are we solving for, but who are we solving for. When we think about technology, we start thinking about data sets and analytics and IoT, and we think cybersecurity, and we think AI, but that is a way of thinking of the solution. If we start building a way of thinking upstream, and we realize that the baseline might not be there, then we're going to pause and figure out what do I need to build in order for this ultimate solution to exist. I'm going to give you a quick story about something that happened to me many years ago. Back in 2017, I wanted to get people in Arizona certified in cybersecurity. Okay, that's the thing we're going to do. It's going to be one of the programs are going to be awesome. We have a lot of jobs in that industry. People are going to have jobs. This is going to be for young adults. We are going to kick this off the park. As we start doing the research, we realize that many of the people in the communities that we wanted to serve in South Phoenix did not have internet, did not have access to hardware, and did not have the basic ways of actually attending a class. And this was before COVID. So how that evolved was that nonprofit that wanted to talk about technology and certifications became a nonprofit and also built a prototype for mesh networks for urban areas and hopefully in the future for rural areas. But this is how you go. You go in thinking of the solution, and then you realize that you really need to pay attention to where the problem is and how to build a baseline so your solution can be considered down the road, but it's part of the greater good of the community that you want to serve. And then I know we've also talked about bridging the digital divide in the Mekong region, so that comes into play, right? We want to help people in certain areas. Maybe those areas don't have the baseline infrastructure that we require to put a project together. And then when we have that clarity of what the real problem is, our MVP, our minimum viable product, is going to be much faster to achieve. So when we're thinking economic development and tech, right? For instance, technology is incredible for solving baseline problems, and we don't think about it. And I know we're talking about digital transformation in the way of digital connections. But if we're thinking of helping the farming communities in our regions, right? We use technology to help them build IoT systems. We use technology to gather data with those IoT systems. We use robotics to guide the IoT infrastructure. And then we'll also use the data so we can actually inform the KPIs. And the KPIs actually are going to help us build the impact reports that we have so we can get better funding, we can get better programs, and we can move forward with the infrastructure and the growth for that specific region of farmers that we might want to help. When we're talking about collaboration and IoT, for instance, and this is why these spaces are so important. Currently, I am working with a client that I met through a global event. They are based in Costa Rica, and it's a data analytics firm. They're currently working in a project with someone in Arizona to do IoT on water resources, to build a water report. So the tech is there, the needs exist, and you don't have to work with just people in your own country. You can build cross-country collaborations to get the solutions that you need. And ultimately here we need to understand that tech is not the goal, but impact is. Impact is what's going to build the narratives that we need to show, because when we're talking about getting funding and getting interest in our projects, it's about building that story. It's storytelling that's going to help us move ahead. There we go. So we go from access to opportunity, and when we bridge the digital divide, many things are happening. We realize that we have projects, we're building baselines. Our projects became 5 projects, and we need to collaborate with more people. And that is incredible because it's going to help us grow with items that need to be built in tandem. So we get to the final solution, because that final solution was not 2 steps ahead, it was like 5 steps ahead. But now we're having an impact that's greater than the impact that we originally dreamed of. The skills matter, and when you're building these parts that are going to help the community, you also realize that you need to bring the community with you. They need to learn what they're doing, they need to understand how to make things sustainable and how to iterate the projects, but also, and as we were talking about before, we need to know who we're solving for. You need to talk to them before you build the product, right? If you're not talking to them and you're basing everything you're doing in assumptions, then you're going to have to go back to the drawing board again, because like, oh, I thought that was the problem, but no, it was 3 other things, and then you have to do it over again. So it's important for us to understand that we need to connect with the places that we are serving, and we need to build also workforce development programs where needed. So just think of all the dots, right? Think that it's not just the one thing, it's the sustainability of the programs, is the other parts that you need to do. And learn to teach is not my thing. I learned that many years ago. I was volunteering at a cybersecurity ranch when I thought we could just do cybersecurity certifications. And that was their credo: learn, do, teach. You learn how to start hacking, you practice it, and then you teach the new people behind you. So the goal here too is also to understand that we go from barriers to breakthroughs. We see the whole picture. We find new challenges. We get better at what we do. We find new skills, and then we teach the ones that come behind us. Now, connections, right? As we're building the projects and we find that we need to do more, it's just us. And as alone cannot go that far, we need to find people as co-conspirators that are going to help us, and as we help them with parts of what they want to do as well. When we're thinking about building lasting, impactful partnerships, we need to think about these things. We have shared values. We need to have trust and transparency. There needs to be a mutual impact. Stakeholder engagement is important. And then GovTech rewards are incredible. We've been talking about public-private partnerships, and those are very, very important. When you have all these elements, then you can have a really impactful project that's going to stand the test of time. That one thing that's very important is stakeholder engagement. And if you think about this in political terms, in training in the US, it's called power mapping. So pretty much you need to do a mapping of all the people in your community and in your city and in your state, in your country, that will be able to have a say in the project that you want to put together. And this means who is against it and who is for it. And then you will realize who is going to support you, who is going to be an advocate for the thing that you want to build, but also who is going to be someone that you need to have a sit down with and explain to them what it is that you want to do and bring them to your side. So stakeholder mapping or power mapping is very important when we're trying to do those public-private partnerships. And we're talking about generous innovation, right? Because we're better together. In a very, very divided world, mostly in the US, I keep talking about finding common ground. Right now, people want to do things their own way. People don't want to listen to the other side. But I think it's very important that when we're thinking about projects that have impact in the places where we live, we need to have the conversations and find that there's more that unites us than divides us, and we need to build on those ideas collaboratively. Find the people, listen to what they have to say, realize that we have things in common, and then move on with like the things that we can do together, and then just let the other things to the side, right? That's the only way to amplify impact. And also when you're doing public-private partnerships, there's going to be a lot of elected officials in your life. It's going to be a little, it's going to be a tad uncomfortable sometimes for you, but you need to be able to have those conversations and to see that at the end of the day, anything that we want to do that has an impact, it's really based on economic development, and politics have nowhere to be around economic development and the betterment of the communities that we serve. And value alignment, right? I train and advise executive directors for nonprofits, and this is something that we do, value alignment. Make a questionnaire, like have a questionnaire of maybe 10 questions and say, what is your position on this? What do you think about this? How do you approach this? So when you have a mini questionnaire and you're looking for partners, maybe there's a grant and you have to get some sort of a different type of organization to be part of the mix. You can have a little questionnaire that's going to tell you, are we a good mix, right? You see the fit. Do you have the items that I'm looking for? But also realize that in this questionnaire, maybe the first 3 questions are your non-negotiables, right? And then the others are like nice to have, and maybe we can talk about the items that we don't completely agree with. But there's space, for us to work together. And when we're talking about community, it's very important that you get everybody around you and understand what is it that they're doing. Community is not an overnight thing. Community is a thing that happens over many, many years. And when you are an entrepreneur and you go and you iterate, you don't fail, we don't fail, we iterate, and go away and maybe lick your wounds, and they start over again. You can go back to that community and they will take you back with open arms. It's happened many times. I've been in the community ecosystem in Phoenix for many years, and we've seen people, try and try again and try again. And once you become part of the greater idea of we are helping each other or we're supporting each other, it is important for you to have that network and that safety net to help you out. Because generous innovation really means showing up. And the ecosystem is not jealous, the ecosystem is kind, and the ecosystem will support you, and the ecosystem will be your cheerleader. But you don't just take that from the ecosystem, you give that. So before we move on, do we have another superpower we would like to share? Please. I can see you talking. Don't be shy. And we have one here.
Hello, I'm Ruth again from the Philippines. I guess my superpower is I can convert the very technical data or text-heavy data into different different types of communication materials, may it be infographic or any publication material. in just a span of hours or just a day.
That's great. And that is helpful, and not everybody can have that translation, you know, from the mundane to the actual specific, and that's very important. Anybody else on this side? We don't have anybody. Come on, look at that. I see mostly women. Come on, girls. Somebody. Yes, you know it. Oh, they're telling her, but she doesn't want to. Oh, come on. Okay, one more. Thank you.
About superpower?
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Vidya, or you can call me Komino. That's the easy way. So I'm from Cambodia. My superpower is I'm good at detecting the pattern and also how to bridge the communication and opportunity between two partners together.
Nice.
Yes. Thank you.
Good one. Thank you so much. See, so that's the whole thing. You know, you tell them, and then you can guess it about the rest, and then they ask you, and that's how you meet people. So our main takeaways today are we need to be intentional in your collaboration, right? It's not about just showing up to get something from the space. It's showing up with what is your gift, what can you support with. It's about giving before taking. It's leveraging tech to create scalable impact. It's not tech for the sake of tech, because as Josh was saying before, sometimes AI is not, you know, the thing that you need to use for that, you know. Like AI is not for everything. You can use other systems that are going to be as useful, but not AI. Just because everybody's using AI, you don't have to use AI. And then you need to build partnerships that lift others up, not just yourself. So showing up with that open mindset of learning, of understanding, and like being open to listening and to meeting new people and new perspectives. So reminder, be curious, be humble, and be coachable. And when you're looking for partners, always choose people who will say your name in a room full of opportunities. Thank you. Do we have questions? Do we have time? Yes, we have questions.
We have questions? Oh, I see a hand.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so hello everyone, my name is Daniel, I'm from Indonesia. Thank you so much, Melissa, for your presentation. It's very insightful, and I'm very happy you point about impactful partnership, because we all know partnership is important for us. And my question is, when we talk about impactful partnership, how we can ensure we young people can create meaningful partnership with adult stakeholder engagement, because I believe many young people want to collaborate, want to partnership with adult stakeholder such as like government, private sector, or maybe other stakeholder engagement. But sometimes when young people create partnership with them, it's just like tokenism. There's so much ageism that the partnership cannot be meaningful, and you just need just partnership, but there's no meaningful impact for young people and for the product itself. So my question is, how we can ensure that our partnership with young people and adult stakeholder engagement can meaningful. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. It's a great and loaded question. So I think age is a number, right? It really matters what you bring to the table. As long as you're able to show your math and see people eye to eye on what you have to bring. So for instance, if you're trying to partner with a public entity or a government organization for a project, bring your homework ready, right? Bring your research, bring your data, bring the things that you're supporting your project with. it's important also to start having those connections before you need them. Because here's what happens, many times we realize that we have this kind of project and we think, oh, we need, I don't know, we need someone from this ministry, let's call them up and find out if we can talk to them, and they've never heard of you. So I find it very important that we have to build relationships, thinking 2 steps ahead. So if this one purpose that you have has to do with XYZ ministries and XYZ organizations in the country, start building those conversations, right? Have coffee. Get a group of your other co-conspirators and say, hey, why don't we have maybe a monthly coffee or have a happy hour? Do we have happy hours? I don't know, have an event where you actually invite elected officials and ministry people where they get to know you. So when the time comes and you're ready to have those projects, you're not just coming out of the blue and say, hey, help me out. You know, bring something that you can help them with too. So maybe the problem is that they can't engage with youth. Maybe you help them engage with youth, and then when you have the project, they will come to you for assistance. Any? One more?
Thank you, Melissa. I'm really grateful that you're sharing these presentations because you mentioned about the private sector partnership. My name is Sing Sing. I'm skill advisor. I'm covering on the education enterprise engagement in Laos PDRs. Actually, I would like to add more about your answer and also the exchange with you as well about his questions, because this is really important. In Laos, we are facing that in school or in state in education system, we are lacking of infrastructure, especially for the IT one. So doing the private sector and public sector partnership is really important. So if you are asking why that young generations facing the challenge when you are do partnership one, what we are doing here, that we have a step. I would like to exchange with you the step that we, when we do the partnership with them. First one is the partnership building, as you mentioned. Have you know that who you want to connect with, your target partnership that you want to cooperate it. You have to identify that. I really love your idea that's going to talk with them, have a coffee with them, or maybe you can meet them somewhere here. And second one will be the implementing partnership. What kind of activity that you can implement with them? Example that you want to invite them to your guest speaker in your school. You want to organize a skill competition and you invite private sector to be a judge. Or you want to send some of your supervisor in your company to have an, in your school or in your institution to have an exchange with them. More than that, will be building the talents, opportunities by and scholarship with them. That is the high level of relationship. And the next one, after you have improvement activity, you evaluate your partnership with them. How deep in that? Is it okay to continue? Is it okay to up level? And last but not least is that we have to maintaining the relationship with them. That is what I want to share more. Thank you.
Thank you. That's very important. And just to close out, when you said it's so real, in Arizona we have programs that actually are built specifically for new tech. We're an incredibly busy tech hotspot. And we have small organizations that are building programs to onboard workers to very specific production lines in the state. So it comes from that too, and you have those organizations building also with community colleges, putting together curriculum to help people be better trained for when the big companies like TSMC from Taiwan come to town. So it's important to think outside the box and also build those relationships early on. It's not something that's going to be, because as companies tokenize young people and elected officials tokenize people, we do the same too. You find young people just knocking on the door out of the blue and expecting something in return where you haven't built a relationship, right? So you need to build the relationship so you have the trust. So when the time is right, you can ask for that partnership.
Thank you very much.
Thank
A huge round of applause, and we are going to coffee break. So you will find Melissa there. Don't let her drink her coffee. Ask her for the whole 30 minutes. And see you back at 11 sharp. Okay?
And what do we want to do? We want to have a risk-based regulatory approach to AI applications. Because we feel that it's going to disrupt our economy. We hear about the risks a lot. So how do we manage that? And so the way the European Union is proposing to manage that is that the more risk, the heavier the regulation. So, for example, the facial recognition provider, is it risky? Yes, it could. To open your iPhone, it's okay, but if it gets it wrong, then someone else opens your iPhone, you can see the implications. And then if you look in the public space, do you want camera recognizing all the faces of everybody? You may want or not. This is the debate we're going to have. So let's look at this. The way the European Union is managing that is by categorizing different AI applications in different levels of risks. So we have what they call an acceptable risk, high risk, limited risk, and minimal or no risk. And so for unacceptable risk, it's plainly forbidden. It's a threat to fundamental rights, and it's just should not happen according to the European policymakers. High risk, it needs a lot of guidance, but we consider that we can go with it. For example, the facial recognition. Limited risk, if you have, for example, a chatbot that is manipulating sensitive information in the legal area, for example, you want it to be under control. And minimal or no risks. In a video game, if the AI doesn't act properly, it's not too bad. So we should just go with it. So I don't want to be too long sharing this with you. I actually want to ask you a question. So different regions regulate AI differently. The EU enforces strict controls. The US takes a more of a hands-off approach. And China has had state oversight over AI. So if you were to design global AI rules, which model would you choose? So, floor is yours. Anybody? Any thought? Sven, un coup de main. We have someone. If we could bring a microphone.
Hello, thank you very much for the presentation. I'm George from Greece, and meaning from the EU point of view. I believe that there should be a balance. None of the above are applicable from my point of view. I would like to have regulations as much not as much to suppress creativity and innovation of moving forward in this area. I really don't like heavy state oversight. I believe it's not suppress and have other compromises as well. And but it also I feel it's also a little dangerous to just leave it as it is. So a balanced regulation which will let the innovation go forward, but have some limitations regarding the preservation of humanity.
Okay. And are you from Italy?
Greece.
Greece, sorry. Because I wanted to reflect on the decision Italy took short after the ChatGPT was released to ban ChatGPT. Anybody have any thought on that? Was that a good thing to do, a bad thing to do? Because when we think about that, we had a revolutionary technology that was just banned by government, preventing the citizens to use it, get their hands on it, and hop on the train of innovation. And it has a strong impact, I believe. But on the other hand, the regulator of Italy had very strong arguments. They say, look, we don't know what is going on there. We don't know where the data is going. I mean, we don't know the level of security, and we'd rather ban ChatGPT for 6 months, a year, whatever, and make sure we're confident about what we are doing. And I had this discussion in Dubai with one of the Italian regulator that made that decision. And I mean, okay, that's that's an interesting discussion. So, does anybody have an opinion on this? We have someone here. Can we bring the microphone? Sorry to keep you running, Dimitri.
No problem.
We have one here, and Sven has another one after.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm Adventius Immanuel from Indonesia, and I would like to choose the US take a hands-off approach. Which, as a law student, there's one idiom that I remember that is "haters in attentive and." It means that law always lead in according to catch up with the innovation in this world. So if we try to make it a strict controls or maybe the heavy state oversight, it will make the character of the law that already lead more late again. And ready or not, it's not about postpone, but it's about how we catch up. So I think the hands-off approach, it will be the best model for me. And if I be the law regulator, maybe I will just put some principle to make some regulation of it, so not really tangible.
Okay, interesting. Thank you. Sven, you wanted to add something?
Thank you, Bruno. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sven, and although my name doesn't indicate it, I'm from Cambodia. Thanks for a very nice question. I think the second part of the sentence is your questions. I would have said like 2 months ago, I would have gone for multilateral rules and global rules because they were still very important. 2 months later, I'm no longer sure that they are. But I think what you describe here is a reflection of how these blocks have regulated or not regulated in many different areas, not only on AI. I have really 2 questions or comments back to you. The first one is that, yes, EU has enforced the AI regulations, but when we look at it from like the Cambodia Mekong perspective, and we try to comply by them, it's almost impossible. We don't have the technology, we don't have the access to the information that is required to comply with the EU regulations. So my question to you is whether you feel like this AI regulation will become obsolete very fast, and second, whether it actually makes sense to have global AI rules, because for the same thing, like by the time we have global AI rules, we can agree on global AI rules, they might be obsolete, given the pace the technology is changing. So just two questions back to you, Bruno. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you for these questions. I think I would like to echo what has been said just before, actually, because the regulation is, for example, if I follow the European regulation framework, and I'm myself an investor in AI companies, and if I have on top of building my product, I have to hire lawyers, consultants to build the compliance framework, it's a lot of administrative overhead, compliance overhead, etc., etc. And actually we're going to touch upon this in the second part, not only about AI, but about the more global regulation. And so it's a real question. The more regulatory burden you put, the more constraints you put on entrepreneurs, and the less innovation you have, and everybody's going to the US, basically. So that's a big problem. And the second one, global AI governance. We had people calling for that. I remember when the debate was very heated. Some entrepreneurs, including Elon Musk actually, signed a memorandum for AI control. That seems a decade ago, right? And I think, yes, we should agree. It's a bit like the nuclear arms race, right? We got together at some point and we agreed to make this right, you know, as a global civilization or what have you. Are we going to be able to do so? I have very high doubts, especially given the current situation in the world. But I think the European Union wants to promote its values, say, this is how we perceive things, and you know, try to engage. We should try, Europeans, to engage with Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, and so on and so forth, to have compatible regulation in those countries in the positive way. Okay, follow our framework, because we believe is the right way to go. We believe we want AI to serve our values and to do right things, rather than just have a explosive innovation with you know, raging inequalities and all the risks that could happen without any regulation. So this is my very personal take. This is my very personal take. All right.
Can I add something, Bruno?
Absolutely, by all means.
One thing about regulation, my team at the Special Secretary of Strategic Foresight work in the framework. One thing, when we speak about universal and like a worldwide regulation, it's very hard to grasp and understand and facilitate all these approaches in a local level. So AI Act has just like 5 pillars that they can work in a humanity level. Okay, so one thing that all different countries around the world can approach is this humanity level. We don't use AI in order to discriminate or rate people. We don't use AI to produce weapons. We don't use AI to score people and do social scoring, or inside different settings like work ethics and stuff like that. So there are very strict, let's say, humanity level rules that we can apply, but in terms of actual technicalities, we need to have a local approach, because something that works in Europe, for example, it's not even applicable in all the European countries level. In Greece we have different approaches, in Italy different, even in Germany and France, that they are really working towards the AI factories and all that stuff. It's really difficult to find this thin line to go all around. So when we are speaking about global regulation, one thing that I want to highlight is that we need to think in a humanity level. How we are going to create ethical AI that supports humans in general, and when you go in this type of human level, you can understand what AI must do and must not. Sorry for the intervention.
Absolutely, I fully agree. I think we had one more question, and after I will move on to the second part.
Hello, thank you for the presentation. What are your thoughts on a lot of these controversial issues, for instance, related to copyrights when it comes to AI development worldwide? So let's say the world uses 90% English, and when it comes to cross-border usage of other people's intellectual work, especially in the form of arts, especially in the form of, let's say, opinion, it has created multiple problems for people who own the copyrights. I haven't seen a very meaningful global consensus on how to approach it so far because of the different regulations. So what are your thoughts on that? How should we go around that?
Yes, it's a Gordian knot actually, because you have the international regulation. If you look at cross-border, it always was a problem. Before digitalization, international trade, data transfer, IP protection has been a problem forever. And we have professionals in trade who can be much more precise than I am on this, but if my patent is protected under the law of Singapore, does it apply for me in Kazakhstan? Maybe, maybe not, depends on the trillion things. When it comes to AI, it brings the complexity level to yet another order of magnitude, because I'm not just taking your intellectual property and reusing it. I'm taking it, I'm putting it in a training set. The training set is being processed by learning algorithms to produce the LLM or the AI model, what have you. So what is the nature of your copyright at the end of that process? Nobody is able to answer it. Experts have opinions, technical opinions, great. I can direct you to Yann LeCun, the head of AI of Meta, who is French. And that's why I know him pretty well. But there is no real answer, consensus on that. And honestly, the only way, and then I want to echo what Dimitri said, which was extremely important. You want the AI technology not to be so skewed towards English. The only way is for Thai people to work on having Thai model. French are working on Mistral because we want some sovereignty on AI as well. Thailand probably has AI laboratories, Vietnam has, etc., etc. Only if you appropriate those technologies and train more models in Thai, will you have something that really fits your culture, your country, your regulation, and so on and so forth. This is my 2 cents. I hope I answered the question. Okay, so we have 10 minutes left. So let's delve into the next part. It's heavily related, of course. So IT systems and regulatory implications. It's going to get a little bit technical because I think it's important to fuel a more interesting conversation. But this is how myself as an engineer, I perceive an IT system, any IT system. I use this layered approach because it helps me decorrelate the different implications at different layers. So now, let me go through my example. Okay, there is no laser. The first layer is always the user workflow. What are we actually doing with the system? Like, I took the example of e-commerce, e-health platform. I don't care what application is running, etc. I want to go, register, get my consultation with the doctor, and move away. If I do it on a web-based application, on a mobile application, I don't care, actually. But there is a use case I want to fill. So that's the user workflow layer. Then you have the front-end layer. This is what you as a user, you see actually. If it's a web-based application, you're on your browser, you click to perform your action, etc., etc. If it's on a mobile application, it's the same idea. You have a front-end and interface with the user. So this starts to be technical. I call it the front-end layer. And then you have the back-end layer, where you have the cloud computing, you have the servers at the end of the day. You know, is it something that you own? Do you have your own servers somewhere, which is less and less frequent for companies? Do you use AWS? Do you use another cloud provider? Do you use third-party software as a service? ChatGPT, if we want to plug AI into this model. Do I have, you see API at the bottom right of the third layer. So this is a good way, I believe, to visualize an IT system. And now that with this in mind, if we look at the GDPR, and that's true for the PDPA of Thailand, the PDP of Singapore, the PIPL of China, etc., etc., it raises the complexity significantly and dramatically, I could even say. Because every time you want to comply with this type of regulation, you always have a data subject and a data controller with a contract that is passed between the two. So the data subject is saying, okay, I give you my consent to use this data for this specific purpose. Okay, I give you my name, my address, etc., for the consultation. Not for you to sell it and make money, for the consultation. And then there is a commitment to limit the usage of the data to its intended purpose. And a guarantee from the data controller that the system is secure and that the system of the suppliers is secure as well. I'm sorry, I left the PDP there. And so if we look at the system from a different angle, actually you still have this contract between the data subject and the data controller, but we have a lot of what we call data processors. And this is where it starts to get complicated. Sorry. Because anything can happen in this entire supply chain. Because if we keep the example of the healthcare platform, you have an IT provider, you have a cloud provider, you have a laboratory, you have a report maker, you can go on with that. And supposedly you're supposed, as the data controller, to make sure every single element of that chain has a secure IT system. And that's, in practice, impossible. At least at the current level of technological development and discipline and maturity we have. So, I'm going to skip this one. So my question to you, again, the GDPR was designed to protect individuals, but it also creates major constraints on businesses. Ensuring data security and compliance is now a significant operational challenge. Have we gone too far with data regulation, or is this just the new reality of doing business? So a big question, and I hope you have some comments on that. What are your thoughts? Have a question here.
It's not really a question. It's more like a feedback to your question. I think the problem with GDPR is there's no way to systematically implement it and systematically identify if it's in compliance. What most companies do, I think, in Europe was to hire a data officer. Within companies, even SMEs, you can have like 5 people in the company, and then you do business all over Europe, and then you have to assign someone to do this role. I think that's extra burden. That could be true. But more, even if you hire someone to do it, there's so many elements of GDPR, especially when it comes to cross-border, again, like cross-border controls, and then how do you really know everyone is in compliance at the end of the day? So I think it has created a lot of, it has created more disputes than necessary. And if there is a way to legally identify if something is GDPR compliance in a short amount of time, I think it's great. But so far there's no tool to do that. And it's basically a lot of bureaucratic human work to figure out if it's compliance or not. And I think that's, to say the least, that's not good for business because it's too complicated to comply.
Not good for business. That is a fact, I would say, because yes, the resources you need to engage to achieve and demonstrate compliance with the GDPR, compliance with the privacy, preservation of your customers, and cybersecurity, and so on and so forth is just very, very high. So a simple business that would cost, say, 10,000 euros to set up with current technologies now costs 50,000 euros because you need to hire data protection officers like me to support you in your business. On the other hand, I want to challenge your statement. Because if you do not do that, then you let people create businesses, capture data freely without regulation. And then they build cheap IT systems full of vulnerabilities. They're liable for cyber attacks, for example, etc., etc. You will end up with an ecosystem that looks good, but it's a house of cards. Because nobody is really compelled to implement costly cybersecurity measures. It's complicated. It costs a lot of money. So as an entrepreneur, you don't want to waste your time and money on that. You want to build great things. But if nothing compels you to pay attention to that, you will have the data of so much, customers, and then boom, cyber attack. And all your data is leaking everywhere. So that's the other side of the coin, I would say. I think we are, in terms of time, Dimitri?
You have 3 minutes.
We have three more minutes. Any other comments? Maybe an answer to my provocative statement I just made? All right, maybe if not, we can conclude. So thank you for listening. Thank you for the interesting comments. I hope you're taking something out of it. I am taking something out of the comments you made for sure. So we'll have a bit of time together. Please come to me. I'm happy to discuss. As I mentioned, I'm running my business. I'm recruiting actively brilliant people that I feel, and I feel I have brilliant people in front of me today. So do reach out if you want, and I'd be happy to discuss tonight and tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now we are moving to the next, to our next theme. I will ask Pisau to come to stage in order to see the part from the transformation perspective.
Thank you. Very good morning, everyone. I'm from Cambodia, Isa. Today I'm going to share the digital transformation with sharing you the 3 key pillars about innovation, visibilities, and protection. Okay, again, I'm the president of tech company called Modern Tech inside Company Limited. We provide a software solution. We develop a lot of software for private sector, public sector, such as government. And I also work as the advisor a lot of ministry in Cambodia as well to digital the government. As you heard some news from Cambodia, our government put another strategy for develop our country is digital government, another angle. Yes. Okay, going to skip this. And we will discuss a lot about innovation. Actually, relating to the innovation, let me share you some tip. Innovation means something to make your business grow or just stuff, things like that. Yes. And innovation is about not only technology, but it's about standardizing with the SOP. I just heard my Prime Minister just mentioned one key, SOP is not only for the system, but for the human resource as well. When we have SOP for the system, and without human SOP, the system not work. And when we have SOP people, but no have system SOP, everything gonna work well. So SOP standardizing process is very important of the key factors of innovation. So the first, before transform to the digitals, you must transform your operation to the digital as well. Everything must be repeatedly the same standard. Let's say you make a bottle, water bottle, when you don't have SOP, it will going to be a lot of shape difference, right? But when we have SOP, we have a standard form that make the production, the bottle has the same size, the same everything, right? So at the workplace also, we want the same output. When we bring the challenges to the process, and the process of SOP will output the same result ever. So this is the process of standardization for the SOP. It is make sure consistently interpretabilities and quality cross-process and technologies and industry. And then second, automation with AI. So these key points is going to help you to accelerate your speed of the business, cut down on the cost, cut down on the process, cut down of the complexity. When you have the automation process, means like you just put the issue, put the challenge, and then the system will process for us. And it shortcut us the time a lot. Everyone knows that time is money. Time is everything for humans. When we have no time, we will die. Is that right? So, business competitiveness is about time, quality, and just the result. So, right now, AI is coming to help us to be a very perfect assistant, like a lot of, I can say thousands of assistants come along with us that can bring out input to make decisions. Actually, I would suggest you to use AI for bring you the input, not use the AI to make decisions for you. Because AI right now, actually AI is a machine, but it's not a human. Human has a heart that can make decisions based on the environment, based on the situation, right? So I would like to recommend you about the AI that you can bring you a lot of input to make you make decisions more accuracy. It's not about right or wrong, but because we talk about more accuracy. So it can improve your business. This thing, it reduces you a lot. Right now, I'm very happy with AI. I share my personal information to AI, ChatGPT, and some other. About myself, when I want to do something, I will ask AI to bring a lot of input. If I stay on this situation, what I should do, this situation, what I should do. So I got a lot of input that make me make decisions more accurate for the situation. Yes. And one more thing is about leveraging data for better decision. You know, let me tell you from business perspective. Actually, many business owners right now in Cambodia, in fact, because I stay in Cambodia, I heard a lot of Cambodian business owners. Right now, they don't really care about customer data, customer business data. So if I ask them, your customer, how many times they come to the shop, and how they feel, what did they complain to you, what did they want, they don't really know. So data can help us to improve our business, our decision to grow. Right now, IT systems have a lot that can record of business transaction, sale record, sale activity, customer feedback, the amount of product sale, inventory, and a lot of issues. So when we have visual system, we provide insight for sales trend, customer behavior, helping business make smarter decisions. You know, right now, I have only my phone. I can check all the business, what I'm running, what my sales doing right now, how many clients they visit today, and what they close the deal right now. So I see that. I see the progress of selling. I see progress of the inventories. I see progress of the issue that customer complain. So I just send order from here to make change, to make improve. So this is very, very important that you as a young professional and the business owner in the future, I would like recommend you to use the system that can record everything of your company and can improve your productivity and sales as well. Okay. In terms of running business, of course, we would like to share all information of our company to our prospect or customer, right? So if you are running business, you go to Google and you type your company name. Do you see the result of your company that show customer that it say that I want this system, I want to have social media service, I want to have a post system, hospitality system. Did you found the result of your company? So visibility, you can invest to SEO marketing that can have your business spread to the world. So everyone can find you on Google, on search engine. Let's say before, everyone always said that even if we want to find something, we are going to go to Google and search, right? Even right now, AI can help a lot, but we still ask Google, right? We want to go good restaurant in Thailand around here. How do we do? We're going to Google, right? So if you are open a restaurant around here and you type your product, your food, did you find the result of the food or the service in the result of Google? So million people searching your product every day, but maybe it found and not found. So I would like you to recommend you to invest on SEO marketing, or we call SEO engine, search engine optimization. But for you can pay for advertising, we call search engine marketing, right? And the second thing, everyone using social media. If you talk about the marketing, we would say that where our customer stay, right? Where our customer often go to, right? So if we know our customer, where they're going to stay, where they are going to go, so we can do the advertising. But right now, social media, everyone have a smartphone. They almost access to the social media. So million people. So it is the big opportunity that we can promote our products to our local customer, even if it is global. Yes. And another thing, we can leverage by using data-driven advertising. Actually, yes, for social media advertising and SEO advertising, it's going to be cheaper and cheaper and accelerating the speed of advertising. But I don't mean online advertising is cheaper. It's cheap when you do the right way. You know, I would like to share you some tips from Cambodia. They're trading the product from China. The cost is around $1, and they say they sell $5, $10. They look at the cost and the selling price. It looks quite good, but they don't really know about the cost, hidden cost. They spend a lot for delivery, for advertising. They spend $100, $200 per month to boot on the Facebook. But after the total margin is like they working hard totally 20 hours a day to answer the question of the customer, to post the product, to create content. They spend a lot of time, but they earn around $300 to $500. It's not good for them, I think. If they spend 20 hours working for other organizations, they may earn 1,000, right? So social media is good, but it's good when you do it wrong, you do it right? You're using right ways. Okay. So if you spend by leveraging the online advertising, right now we have a lot of AI that can generate contents, that can design. That before we are going to use for design, we are going to use Photoshop, the Premieres, or other video edition, and they spend a lot of time. We require a lot of skill to design. But right now we have Canva, just 5 or 10 minutes can create content. And you know, a lot of Cambodian company, advertising company, they are shut down. Because of what? Because the cost of develop content is very high. They spend a very professional cameras, Photoshop, a lot of human resource, high skill. So they spend a lot of cost. So the content will be higher. But right now, the online advertising maybe bring to the some entrepreneur in Cambodia, they become rich because of they can leverage that right base. They become millionaire a lot because trading product and develop product to sell and to sell. They can sell millions of products per day, things like that. Okay. And another one, I think our speaker also share a lot for the protection. Actually, we go on internet, everything connectivity around the world. So where our data store, our data will store. It's all on the cloud, public cloud. So how you can prevent yourself? Actually, you know, I also know the way how to hack. So in the world not secure yet. Even this hotel, I can go to your room without your key by cloning your key. Yes. I can hack everything. You know, but we have proper way to protect them. A lot of people, they don't know how to prevent themselves from the internet. So, by using social media, you may have to have two-factor authentication to protect your security. You know, someone can clone, can get your password anytime. Sometimes the application they are using is very secure, but you may know your password somewhere else, right? You may know, because a lot of systems you are using right now, you're using many different systems, so you have many different passwords. So that's why you know somewhere. And the hacker may not hack the system, but they access to other way to get the information, right? So there are many people hack my Facebook, hack my system, but they can't. It always needs to verify the two key factors that need to be confirmed to access before they can access. Even they get my credential. And if you are the business owner, you have to learn about security cyber. How many ways that hacker can attack yourself, your company. It's very important, right? So that after you learn it, you know the way how hacker can hack you. So it's very important. You know, actually just one company have many different staff from different areas. They may not have IT knowledge properly. So train the staff, your team about security cyber is the must. Yes. And another thing, secure your customer data. You know, customer data is everything. In terms of that, we have to have data privacy to train the staff. When they leave, they must protect and sign. They not bring the customer data along with. They're not allowed to share information, things like that. And one more thing, you know, some software that you are using, the real system, may not have encryption. So it is easy to the hacker can retrieve, can hack all the data of the customer. Even your credential of the company will be disclosed. This is very important. Just, I think I will pick some time for you to ask me. Let me check the time right now. How long that I have right now? 5 minutes? 10 minutes, okay. Thank you. So, when you buy a system, you must check that the system have encryption or not, end-to-end encryption. That makes sure your customer data, your data will not share to others. Okay. I would love to share you if you want to know about hacking something. Okay. Let you have a question. Okay, please. So, question, please. Can we have mics?
So thank you, sir, for your engaging presentation. So my name is Watra, a software engineer student from Cambodia. So as you a president at the tax company, so if the client got a big project that involve in a big transaction, sensitive data, so how can you build trust between your company and a non-technical client? So that is my question. Thanks.
Actually, very good question. Actually, when I talk to customer, I always talk quickly because I have many big reference from government, from big client. So that if you don't trust me, you check with my client. Okay, just kidding. So actually, we have to share our procedure, how we develop the software, right? So the first step, what we're going to do, and second and third after finish. So data encryption is the best way, end-to-end encryption, but it's not really required sometimes. So everything must be encrypted, and we have best policy to protect customer data. We can share to customer so that they know how we do and how we protect their data. And also, we are running on the cloud. Our system running on the cloud, and the cloud also have insurance. If someone can hack our system, the cloud provider will guarantee everything, will handle everything, million and million to reimburse to the customer. Okay. Another question?
Hello, okay. Hello sir, I'm Andes from Indonesia. Actually, I'm a content creator and also the small business owners though. And you are talking about the brand visibilities before, and you also said like to push the SEO and also the social media engagements. But if for the small business, we knowing about that we have a limitation for budgeting, right? So did you think about which most important that SEO or maybe the social media for the engagement first to the first step of the small business?
Okay, actually for small business, I would like to recommend you to use the social media. Personal branding of the CEO or business owner is very, very important and very safe call. You know, in Cambodia, as I mentioned earlier on, advertising company starting to close because right now every business owner can have their phone and review the product by themselves, and they just spend a little bit budget to boost them. So it is more attractive than professional video. So the customer would like to know more from the CEO of the company, how the product is going on. Better than you spend $1,000 or $10,000 to develop a content and promote. So social media can open the world for you. You know, a lot of small business in Cambodia, as I mentioned earlier, they become billionaire and millionaire. They can sell millions of products per day using social media. And with the system myself, IT system that control the stock, that can tracking the customer behavior, they improve themselves, things like that. Thank you.
One final question we have. Super. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Give a round of applause. And another one for Sven in order to take the stage. Okay.
Hello. Yes. Good morning. Or shall I say Sawasdee Krap and Sabayadi and Chin Chow and Susday and what else? Mingalaba and Mabuhay. Right? Cool. So I'm introducing this way because what I want to do is really to focus on CLMVT and probably Indonesia and the Philippines. So my name is Sven Kalebo. I have been living in Asia for 25 years, including 20 years in Cambodia. And as a profession, I'm a government advisor. So I advise governments, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, and since this year, Indonesia, on their adoptions of digital tools in the trade sector. Trade, Pinyachakam in Khmer. And 2 months ago, nobody care about trade. Nobody care about tariffs. They say, well, I don't understand what trade is, what tariff is. But since President Trump has been elected, and some of his initial decisions were about tariffs, I increase tariff for this country, from that country, from that country. Trade and tariff have become maybe fashionable, or at least everybody talks about it. So I'm going to talk you through what is the implication of AI and trade, or digital trade, in the Mekong region. I'm going to use an application for online polls like Josh used this morning. He used Mentimeter. I'm going to use Slido. So when you will see the QR code, you can just scan the QR code. It will take you to a few questions. The objective is to make this interactive and for you to get into the mood of sharing. And you know what sharing is? Sharing is like boxing. If you want to share, or if you want to do boxing, you have to know how to give hits and how to receive it. So sharing is the same. You need to be able to give, but also to receive. So that's the objective of today's presentation. So I'm going to cover AI and trades, AI and SMEs, small and medium enterprises, what are the challenges and opportunities, and finally a few words about a very fast-growing topic in the region, which is ethical AI and trade. So why AI and trade? So the rules for trade. So what is trade? When you buy or sell something, mostly across border, imports and exports, you can buy and sell goods or services. This is trade. So your phone, your computer, your jean, your tie, everything has been made somewhere and then traded, imported or exported, right? The rule of trade, they were defined 200 years ago, 100 years ago. Everything was document-based. We all have to have many documents to cross the border. If you have ever imported or exported, you know about that. You know that you need a lot of papers. So trade was not ready for AI. Because what is AI? Is it a good or is it a service? When you ask a policymaker, the first thing they want to know about a product or service is, can I tax it? Can I put a tax on it? And it's easier to put a tax on goods because you see the goods, you can tax it at the border in the shop. It's more difficult to see services, how to tax a service. So the first question is AI a good or a service? For instance, you have an AI tool that creates some custom design for a client. If you print the design and send it to the client, this is a good. But if you deliver the design digitally by computer, this is a service. And it is taxed differently. And not only it's taxed, but we have international rules in trade, most of them under ASEAN or under the WTO, World Trade Organizations, that define what is a good and what is a service. And if you can look at the list, AI is not in there. It's not a good, it's not a service. So how do we, as policymakers, how do we define goods and services as AI? Second, and I think Bruno already alluded to that, it's about intellectual property. Is something you create on AI, does it belong to you? Does it belong to the AI? Or does it belong to the AI developer? Some countries have different answers. Some consider that to have intellectual property, you must be a physical person. Others say, well, if it's created or generated through AI, it can be valid. You don't need a person. Big question. Third question, is AI a person? Did you know that, for instance, ChatGPT passed the bar exam? So ChatGPT can be a lawyer. But according to the rules of trade, a lawyer must be a physical person. It cannot be a computer or an AI app. So all these questions, they are very new questions in the trade sector. And businesses, governments, international organizations are trying to answer to those. And I'm going to ask you the same question. So please scan this QR code, the one on the right-hand side. If you can't scan, you can just go to open your browser, you type slido.com, and then it will ask for an event code, which is AI trade. So I'm a bit older than you, so this morning when Josh was showing the scan QR code, by the time I was scanning it, it was already moved to the next questions. So I am going to be a bit slower, right? And this question should appear also on your screen and on that screen. So, what comes to mind when you think of AI and trade? You need to choose one from your list. Only one. So I have 50 answers already. So let's look at your results. For you, when you talk about AI and trade, you think about AI adoption in e-commerce marketplaces. When you order on GrabFood, on whatever, this is what comes to mind, right? But for businesses, not what's come to mind. For businesses, AI and trade means automation of supply chain. Faster, leaner, and therefore cheaper. It is also about import duties, as I was mentioning before. So it's good to know that your generation, for you, trade is actually e-trade. It's really e-commerce, and you see AI being applied in this. I'm going to challenge and put a few opportunities on the screen. So when we think about AI and trade, there are challenges that come to mind, and there are opportunities that come to mind. Let's talk about the opportunities. One, it can enhance trade efficiency. For instance, at the customs. The customs do not have to check physically all the goods. They can do some segmentation, they can do some screening so that AI can help lower the cost and lower the time. AI enables new business models. For instance, what you mentioned before, AI-driven e-commerce, where you have less manpower needed, and this can help you reduce cost, reduce inventory, reduce logistics costs as well. Finally, AI can help SMEs to compete globally by reducing the cost and improving decision making. This is a kind of a generic statement. When it comes to challenges in our region, and here I'm talking about what I know best, which is Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Vietnam, and Thailand, we still have a few infrastructures. We have mentioned them already during the day and yesterday. Infrastructure, cloud computing is limited, broadband connectivity. Limited cloud computing is also because the rules in ASEAN is to try to limit cross-border data flow for sovereignty reasons, and to insist that the data centers are hosted in-country. So some of the countries in the region have strict law to make sure that the data of your business, your citizens, are hosted in your country in a physical data center. And that's very difficult to explain to policymakers. It's not a good idea usually. So when I go to a minister and I say, yes, you want to have your data center in your country? Very good. But do you watch Netflix? Oh yes, I watch Netflix. But do you know that the Netflix data, they come from 9 different countries in packets before they reach your country. So it's very difficult, almost impossible, for businesses to operate on the basis of local data centers. But those are things that are very new thinking that we are bringing to the equations. Other challenges is the access to finance. If you want to fund your startup, your new business, is very difficult in our region to go to a bank. They will not understand what you are doing. So we have to find other mechanisms. Regulatory gaps, there's a lack of coherence between what AI wants to achieve and what trade policies are at the moment. And I'll come back to that, but we have also challenges in terms of ethics. for doing AI. So next questions. It should be on your screen. You don't have to scan the QR code again. It should be automatic. I hope you have it on the screen. Otherwise, you can scan this again. What do you think is the biggest challenge for AI adoption in trade in the Mekong region? Mekong plus plus includes Philippines and Indonesia, just for the sake of this workshop. So here you have to rank them from 1 to 6. So the first one you click on will be the first on the list, and second, third, etc. So we have 47. So what do you think is the biggest challenge for AI adoption in trade in the Mekong regions? One is the lack of digital infrastructure, 2 is skill shortage, and 3 is regulatory gaps. Skill shortage, I think, is something that we have already mentioned during the workshop. We are going to mention it again. Every time I meet someone at the lunch break or the coffee break, they say, oh, I'm in education in AI. Skills in AI. So I think we're going to have a lot of answers. Lack of digital infrastructure, that's correct. And the lack of cloud computing facilities is one such example. And regulatory gaps, absolutely. I'm not sure if you're aware that all ASEAN member states are currently negotiating an agreement called the Digital Economy Framework Agreements, DIFA in short. And as part of the negotiations happening between 10 member states, there are a total of 29 different topics being negotiated. From e-invoicing to online consumer protections to e-contracts to data privacy, etc., etc. And one of them is called emerging technologies and include AI. So this is because some of the member states are lacking regulation. So they are hoping for ASEAN to give a push, to give a direction, so that they can adopt regulations for AI in the near future. Let's go to the next, which is AI and SME in the Mekong region. So before I came here, I tried to find a few examples from Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, of how AI is being used by SMEs. Not by the large companies. They have access to funding, they have access to expertise, but by the smaller company. The micro, small, medium enterprises in Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Vietnam. So we all know that SMEs are the backbone of our economies in the region. In Cambodia, for instance, 97% of businesses are SMEs and MSMEs. And most of these SMEs, they are informal. They are not registered. So they don't have access to funding. They don't have access to expertise. They have to use their own networks. Policies should be able to create AI innovation hubs, training programs, and providing financial incentive, of course. But we are here talking of developing economies who may have other priorities in terms of their economic development. So it's difficult for the government alone to fund these initiatives. But I found a few initiatives from the region that unfortunately they are very small and micro, usually they are project-based, but AI and trade are working in the region. I'm just giving a few examples, like a big rice farmer in Cambodia uses AI-powered app to analyze soil quality, weather patterns, crop health, and this gives real-time recommendations on when to plant, when to irrigate, and to harvest. Fishing community in Vietnam uses AI to track fish stocks and predict the best time and location for fishing. Another example in Cambodia, a village shop in Cambodia uses AI tool to track inventory levels and predict demands for products like rice, cooking oil, and soap. And the one I like the most is in Vietnam. Small businesses have difficulties to have access to finance, right? But more and more small sellers, small vendors are able to use their mobile phone. As Pisar was mentioning, they have everything in their phone. They don't have to have a huge IT or digital literacy. And by doing that, they can actually apply for microloan throughout an AI-powered platform that analyzes alternative data. For instance, they look at their mobile phone usage, their social media interactions, their level of stock. And based on this, they can provide microloans for the businesses. This is mostly through MFI, microfinance institutions, but that's working. Unfortunately, those are still exceptions. And they are not really well known. Even in Cambodia, when I asked, it was very difficult for me to, or for the respondent to find good examples. So we need to broaden the information, the access to information, so that more and more businesses can actually use those tools, harness the power of AI. Question for you. What do you think is the most important way SME in the Mekong region can be supported to adopt AI? You can select 3, up to 3. Alright, so we have 43, and then the largest number is training program for AI skills for SMEs, and this is really, really true. It's difficult for SMEs to invest in training, but it's not yes or no or when, it's you do it or you disappear. You must train your workforce, not only for the job of tomorrow, but also for the job of today. So I fully concur with you that training programs for AI skills should be the topmost priorities or ways for businesses to catch up and keep up. Very good point. I have a few minutes left, so I am going to go into something which is new. I think our guest of honor this morning mentioned this conference is going to take place in Bangkok on AI ethics. The same applies for trade. AI and ethics in AI and trade is getting a lot of traction in the region because of the many concerns that businesses, consumers, and government have on the use of AI without safeguard, without protections, without safety. So when we talk about ethics in AI and trade, we refer to the moral principles and guidelines that ensure that AI technology are used responsibly, fairly, and transparently in international trade. And this involves, for instance, addressing things about what are the unintended consequences of AI, such as bias, privacy violations, and unequal access to benefit. I'm going to give you a few more examples. So, what do we mean by bias? For instance, if an algorithm using e-commerce platform or trade finance system can unintentionally favor larger businesses. So, because larger businesses have more data, more information, so you go on a platform looking for trade finance, and the algorithm unwillingly is actually favoring the larger players. What about the smaller players, the smaller competitors? They might not even be able to offer a quote to you. Data privacy. So as we've heard time and time again today, AI systems rely heavily on data, including sensitive businesses data. And you know, I hope you know, how much data are the social media company having on you. And hopefully they only, as Bruno was saying, keep them or store them, but actually I think they also use them. So data privacy, AI systems that rely heavily on data, if not properly regulated, this data can be misused, can be exposed to cyber attacks. So how do we prevent this? We want people to feel confident with AI, right? But how do we make sure we give them a safe environment where their data are secure, or they feel that their data are secure? Finally, the lack of transparency. AI systems used in custom clearance, for instance, in trade, so at the border, use a lot of what we call black boxes, meaning that we don't know how the decision is made. So you have a shipment coming from Thailand, arriving in Vietnam, and then AI systems say, well, this one, no good. And why? Or because the name of the company, we have had problem with this name before. But maybe it's a completely different company that uses a similar name or a similar sounding name from another company. So there can be many black boxes which we don't understand how they operate. And this creates some issues in terms of ethics and in terms of transparency. So I'm asking you the question. Give me, according to you, in 1 or 2 words that you have to write in there, what do you think is the most critical ethical concern in AI-driven trade? So I give you a few examples before. It can be bias, data privacy, it can be intellectual property, it can be inclusivity, transparency. You don't need to write the same word, you don't need to copy that. If you have your own ideas, just write in 1 or 2 words. And we should see a cloud forming on the screen with your answers. Alright, so I think we have a clear winner. We have a clear winner for the top ethical concern, which is data privacy, but you can see here also in blue data protections, intellectual property, privacy. So data privacy, number 1, transparency, number 2, and bias, number 3. And I like that you have a lot of different suggestions. So it shows how concerned you are and that you are aware of the ethical dangers and risk of using AI in a kind of unsafe environment or an unsafe ecosystem. So I don't know, how much time do I have? How much time left? 5, thank you. In conclusion, AI is transforming trade. We've heard that. The trade we used to have like 50 years ago, even 20 years ago, is no longer aligned with the needs of AI. Policies and regulations are needed. Ethical AI is non-negotiable. This is my idea, but I think you would concur with me. Inclusive growth is key, and there's a lot of actions to be taken from different partners. They have not waited for me to say it or for this conference to do it, but I think we have to remind our constituents, we have to remind the businesses and the policymakers that we need AI-friendly regulations, we need businesses to embrace transparent and inclusive AI, and we need to advocate for ethical AI and regional collaboration. So that's why I would like to thank DCN Global really for bringing us together. I was coming here with the hope that I could share something, but for the past 24 hours I have learned much more than I have shared. So thanks for that, it's very useful, and I hope we continue doing that today and tomorrow. That's a summary. Just to leave you with a few words of wisdom. And before I show my last slide, which is a kind of exercise for you, I'd just like to ask if there's any question. I'd be happy to take it, but I will be here today and tomorrow, so if you're too shy or if you're too hungry to ask a question, we can leave it for later. Yes, Bruno?
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, I have a very precise question. You mentioned the UNESCO fair. And I'm wondering what is the relationship between the UNESCO agenda and AI regulation. It's a really genuine question.
Right. So, good question. Thank you, Bruno. Well, the UN agencies have kind of shared or divided the mandate on AI. Different agencies have different purposes. Like UNCTAD will work on the trade aspect of AI. You have UNICEF with how to protect children. UNESCO is actually focusing on analyzing the ethics of AI. UNESCO is for science and culture, right? So they are taking the cultural aspect to look at what are the behaviors that are acceptable and unacceptable in AI. And they are organizing a conference here in Thailand on these topics. So I don't see any other question. Feel free to come to me when during the... Please.
Hi, I'm Olive from Laos. As you all know, some people or some business has some concern to transfer their traditional business to smart. But there are some people still have interested to transfer their traditional fund business to smart. So I have a question for traditional business to transfer. How can traditional business in our region better prepare for AI-driven change in international trade patterns without being left one behind? Thank you.
Very good questions. Years ago, we say, if you want to get ready, if you want to get prepared, you need to have access to information. Information is out there, okay? It's in the web, it's online, it's everywhere. But nowadays, this is not enough, because I think, as Mr. Pisal was saying, like, there are very different ways to find the information you have. So what I'm telling the businesses in Cambodia or even in Laos is, you need to be able to know where the information is. It's not so much the information, it's information on the information. Why? Because you have to make sure that the information you get is not biased. If you go on Facebook, you will get some type of information, some type of training. So you have to use those bodies, those events like this one that have access to information and can share information in a neutral way. So I think that's the most important step that you need to take if you are a traditional business. You need to, it can be from your friends, it can be from Chamber of Commerce, it can be from a business association, but you need to get the information. Because most people coming to me say, oh, you know, I'm interested in moving into e-commerce or AI, but I don't know where to start. And there's so much information out there, you just need to look for it, but in a very safe and predictable way. And my last exercise is you will have to learn something today. You will have to say thank you in a different language. Okay? So I will say it once for you, and then by the end of the 2 days, you should be able to say thank you in all these languages. Okay? Bear with me. So thank you, especially for DCN Global, for getting us together. Kop Kun Kap, in my case, from Thailand. Kop Chai, this is from Laos. Okun, from Cambodia. This one is the more difficult one. Tizu Tibali. Tizu Tibali, from Myanmar. Come on. Not come on. Come on. From Vietnam. Salamat. Salamat is mostly for the Philippines, and Terima kasih from Indonesia. So thanks for your attention. I hope you've learned something, and then feel free to talk to me.
Thank you very much. Ευχαριστώ in Greek. So I will give the floor to Fawn in order to announce our next distinguished guest. Fawn, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So maybe I can just do it here, down here. I have a great honor to introduce you all to the next speaker of ours before we break for lunch. And we have a really good honor from Dr. Virachai Dechawitjit, who is the current founder and chairman of Regents International School and Colleges in Thailand and the UK. He is also the honorary general counsel of the Republic of Estonia in Bangkok, and you know, he has a long history of his career in both policy, public policy, and also extensively in education. And especially he was the official, former official advisor to the Prime Minister, and also, you know, the place where I used to work in Washington, D.C. He was the Secretary General, Council Chair of the U.S. ASEAN Business Council. So today he's going to, you know, enlighten us with the topic of the importance of digital skills for the young generation, case studies from Estonia and Thailand. So please give a big round of applause to Dr. Virachai to welcome him on stage. Thank you.
Hello. Well, should I say good afternoon, not good morning? If I say good afternoon, you probably miss your lunch. So therefore, I should say good morning. You still have plenty of time to eat your lunch. Although I look at my schedule, apparently I have only about another, 19, 20 minutes. But it's okay. It's actually, I think Mr. President said you could go on, and I assume that he said maybe to 5 o'clock this evening. No?
Yeah, no problem.
Anyway, really what I would like to present to you is not really from any text or sort of prepared text. It's going to be just off the cuff kind of thing. The reason I accept this invitation simply because it's from Kun Fon. Now, I remember meeting her in Norway many years ago when she was doing her sixth form at United World College in Norway. I was inspecting that school as part of my international school kind of a team. And of course, she went on, she made all the top and very talented, very well thought out decisions. She went to all level education without paying a penny because everybody wants to give her full scholarship. So she really just have an outstanding profile if you have a chance to read it. And after the education, of course, she also made lot and lot of excellent decisions, going to work for many top company, Amazon, place like that, including being the advisor to US government and now to the Thai government. So she's really excellent in working out all the right policy, infrastructure so-called. If you don't have a right policy, no matter how technical knowledge you possess, forget it. It's very difficult for you to really put into work. And of course, one of those excellent decisions that she had made in her life up to today is the one that I must say and compliment her, and that is the decision to send her daughter to my school. And she is now moving up to year 1. So she still have another 12 years at my school, and she will definitely become a superb, well-prepared adult with all these digital skills behind her. All right, I would like to mention a little bit about representing Estonia in this country. Nearly 20 years ago, I was appointed by the cabinet to become the, I think they call honorary consul of Republic of Estonia to Thailand. And later, after the tsunami hit Phuket and all this area, then we decided we must have an honorary consul in Phuket so that I don't have to go down there anytime there were some calamities. I remember I went down there and I have to go through all the temples and all the, what you call the freezers to look for body, because I was supposed to find 3 bodies from Estonia. And so after the appointment of the consul, honorary consul in Phuket, I was then upgraded to become consul general with honorary prefix. Well, simply because they give me all the honors that I would like to have without paying me $1. So I'm so proud that I have worked and helped the Republic of Estonia, mainly on the humanitarian side. When they come here, they lost their passport, they cannot go anywhere, they come to me. We issue certificate of return. They come here, they got killed, or they just died because of accident. Of course, we arrange temple, we arrange cremation, and we arrange what you call, everything necessary to send the remains back to Estonia. Anytime they have any difficulty with law, perhaps drinking a little bit too much, of course, it's our duty to help out. So honorary consul or honorary consul general really is more or less, it's sort of like a charity, sort of like a church one. But on the side, Estonia happened to be very well known for their digital, what you call expertise. As a country of that size, if you don't find strength or the strongest point that you can stand out from all other countries, then I think you will not really be able to get your country on a successful track. So therefore, I remember when they decided to go with digital, the Finnish government actually at that time prior offered them the whole telephone system without charging even a penny. And the Estonian government said no, even though it's free of charge, because the system was analog. So if you really have not much to begin with, it's much easier for you to choose something that's very current and progressive. As you know that after the freedom or independence Estonia got from Russia, the first cabinet of the new republic, average age of the cabinet was only, can you guess? 32, 33, just like many of you. That's one of the reasons I accept the invitation, because the profile of the audience is going to be young as you are. Because if you're getting too old, just like they call dead wood, then it's very difficult to really make any change, or really difficult to really provide any meaningful input. So I thought, I'm not going to go through really what I have prepared for you, but you can take home my 8-page, I think 8-page kind of a PowerPoint. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about something that really stirred up one country that was really having not much to become today a very outstanding digital society. So the average of the cabinet is only that, and the Prime Minister was only 36. I think he must be the oldest. And the youngest one was the Foreign Minister, or Minister of Foreign Affairs at the age of 29. There's a reason why, you know, they sprang up so fast without having to go through all this, what you call dismantling the old system. That was the benefit of being such a small and a newcomer into the arena. For us, coming from this Mekong region, we've been here for so many years, hundreds of years, 1,000 years. It's not easy. But don't give up. But don't rely too much on the, what you call quote unquote, I'm not saying any particular country, but we call old dead wood. You need to have courage to really stride ahead. And one of the things that need to be available to your young generation, your country, is the digital skills. Because, for example, in my days when I was young, people say, oh, if you don't have any linguistic literacy, if you don't have any numeric literacy, you're going to be an adult at the bottom of the labor hierarchy. You're not going to have any bright future. But nowadays, if the young kids or the young generation does not possess or have this digital literacy, then it's very difficult. I think his adult life can be quite miserable. So I think we don't really have to debate, why digital skills are so important. I think we must take it that it's very essential to survive. And so therefore, the young generation in your country, particularly in this country, I must say, need to be nurtured up, need to be educated, need to be provided by the government or whoever running your country access to the digital literacy or digital education. And I remember when I was requested to bring some expert on what you call the digital government transformation from Estonia to Thailand. Yeah, we actually brought a team, very capable, very knowledgeable, and trying to really help out the agency called, I think they call Digital Government Agency. Yeah, I think it still exists. But I don't think they really have that kind of power, because the power is actually in the hands of the politicians. And as you know, the outcome of a proper digital system is transparency. If you really cannot really produce transparency, then of course a particular system is not really quote unquote digital. So if you're politicians with good heart, good mind, honest, definitely you're going to jump at it and do it, because it's going to save a lot of your time in employing so many people to process all the documents. And at the end of the day, of course, the digital system will provide you all the transparent outcome of the work for that day. But of course, for the politicians, it's very difficult. If everything is too transparent, then of course, there's no point of getting involved with politics. This is really the mindset of most of our countries, I must say. Not only in this part of Mekong region, but I think around the world. At first I was thinking that perhaps underdeveloped would have that kind of mindset. No, not likely. I think virtually nowadays it's spread out into even civilized or developed countries as well. So I mean, as young leaders like yourself, you really have obligation to help out in setting up the proper infrastructure. And of course, the young generation, if you have any say in working out a policy, I really think that you must help your country by making sure that all your young generations are giving a proper opportunity and adequate accessibility to that knowledge. So I think it's very, very, very important. For Estonia, I think if I could show you a little bit, since I prepared it, might as well just look at it. But I'm not going to go into detail. Oops. Okay, well, what are the digital skills? You can just go into your ChatGPT, okay, Gemini, you click it, you'll see exactly what I'm presenting to you. So there's no point of me going through all this. Because everything is a fingertip at the moment. So no matter who and how late someone invites you to give a speech, say yes. In the old days, you need a week, sometimes a couple of weeks, to really drag through your books and things like this, and then try to come up with a set of PowerPoint. My 8-page PowerPoint is one click from ChatGPT. I just simply write out, produce lecture on the importance of digital skill for young generation. This is what I got. Okay? Very simple. And of course, you think, okay, all right. So coding, of course, you start your kindergarten. In Estonia, small kids like 3 years old, they start doing the Scratch, Scratch, right? And in many, many countries. But the British curriculum, like international school, like Regent International School, we normally started at the upper primary, or let's say year 4 or grade 3 on up. But for the British, for the American, or for the what you call non-British curriculum, they like to go, including Estonia, they like to go as young as 3 or 4 years old. Coding, of course, come after you got all your logic lined up. Cybersecurity awareness, this is something that I heard from the preceding lecturer talking about talking about the digital security is really utmost important. And you got to be able to educate your young generation to be able to tell whether this is a genuine kind of information or wow, this must be fake. How can you tell? Because if it's true, then all the major newspapers probably publicize it. So everything that you read and you feel like, wow, great, don't jump the gun yet. Look around to see whether all the major newspapers say so. If so, quietly forget it, fake. And of course, content creation, this is very important, content creation. This is what they call creative kind of thinking. So therefore, you have to present lots and lots of questions to your kids, to your children, and let them think. Don't give the answer, let them lecture to you. This is what we call. And then, for example, like on the Scratch, I'll give you one example. If you tell your student to press, let's say, yellow means you walk 1 step, red 2 steps, something along that line. If you give proper instruction, then you will telling your kids that, hi, this is how robot works. You have to give instruction. So therefore, you have to think about what to give. So this basically give them a kind of what you call the urge to really be able to say, what should I say? What type of story should I tell? What kind of instruction, a set instruction they're going to give it to my robot? Something like that. And then, of course, let's move on to the next one, please. Okay, education, because all this coming from ChatGPT. If you cannot take it, you go ChatGPT. You have exactly the same, but without any artwork, because artwork presented by Kunfon late last night. Okay, so but you can have the the printout exactly just like this. It's just fantastic the way that you could really do the research. I remember my day when I do my dissertation at the University of Missouri in Columbia. I remember I have to punch all the cards. And mind you, my dissertation is about 444 pages. And I have to carry to the computer room, big computer room. And I have to be careful because if I hit someone, if I drop that tray, that means bad news for a couple of weeks. Because you really need to sort of rearrange it. So therefore, back then, I have to lock myself in the room and then check out the books from the library, like tons of them, and then try to go through it. It's a really horrible kind of exercise. Nowadays, it's just fingertips. So therefore, the quality of your dissertation must be much more superior than many decades ago. And after I finished my dissertation, then of course Michigan University have an archive where people could just click and ask for a copy. I remember, every so often I receive a check of maybe $250, sometimes $50. I mean, this is sort of thing. I mean, it's old days. We no longer have that. And could I know that I'm running out of time. The next one, okay, definitely. If you have that kind of a digital skill, chances that you're gonna have a better opportunity to acquire the kind of job. All right, move on. Yeah. Okay. All right, communication, no need. You understand that? Move on, please. Okay, creativity. Okay, we done that. And challenge. Okay. All right. Keep on. A conclusion already. All right. So it's quite fast. And if you like to look at details of my profile, I think that's the bottom line. That you could go to my school kind of website and then click Chairman CV. Okay. Of course, I'll be more than happy if I can help. If you need anything from Estonia, it's my work, it's my job. In fact, we have some delegation coming in to meet some decision-making team here in this country to provide certain kind of current update on the development of the digital world. Well, would you go on to the next one? This is my student, year 5. So he studied about 2 years, second year, because he started year 4, 5, and he went to the contest of Scratch, and he got the second place in Hong Kong. Just give you some idea, kids need to be really kind of urge, to get into competition, things like this. All right, next please. Oh, the other one. You remember the other one with the list of maybe prior to that picture? Oh, before this one. Here we go. You can take home this one. If you really want, if someone asks you, how to go about start the Scratch kind of a teaching in the school or in the group, then you say, well, read this book, read this article, and watch this video, and then you will become an expert in teaching Scratch. Okay, so that's my sort of a takeaway kind of a souvenir for you. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Virajai, for your presentation. My name is Ziad from Indonesia, and I would like to ask a question. So you mentioned that digital skills in government system can enhance transparency and efficiency, just like in Estonia. But however, how can the younger generations that they have the digital knowledge and skills can contribute to and participate in the government, while at the same time most politicians and policymakers in many countries belong to an older generation? So this is particularly evident in my country, Indonesia, where the digitalization of the government and the public services is often hindered by the lack of digital literacy and skills. So my question is, how can we bridge the gap between the digital skills of the younger generations and the authority held by the older generations? Thank you.
Good. This is a very, very good question. Don't give up. There are basically two solutions. The first solution would take too long. Wait until they die. Second solution may be faster. The private sector should take all the initiative. I invest in a company called Real Smart CO Ltd or Company Limited. If you have live, you could click in now. Real Smart Company Limited, and you actually could do it together here. This is a company that are servicing not only the private counterpart but also the government, including the anti-fake news of the government run by our company. I'm actually put a lot of money in there as a major stockholder because I want to really get involved apart from teaching it. It's provide social monitoring. It's also get into your, what you call data center, your own data center, and be able to generate what you call market analysis. They could really tell you how to proceed to the next step. And we have most of the big company, giant company in this country. The one that really doing so well and really enthusiastic of our service are the private big company. And they're the one that really going very, very fast and very successfully in be able to, be able to tell what the customer think about their product or the image. And they can also help the customer to lay out the next step forward. But for the government, it's important because they pay on time sometimes. We don't have to worry about them going bankrupt. And they are much bigger accounts. We need that to sustain our survivability. But we are so happy to be able to help the government, particularly work with the what you call civil servants. I think they are the key. If you don't like your politicians, just wait, they're going to go away. But I think what we really need to help out, basically, we have to reboost our private sector. And they're smart enough to be able to work with the civil servant, what you call the permanent employee of the government. These are the two components that can move the country along. Look at Thailand. All the bad news every day, but yet Thailand's still moving. Why? Why so? Because private sector take initiative. And the private sector, we all of us, supposed to really produce young generation with that kind of skills. And the private sector, to survive, they have to work with the government employees. So if you have strong civil servant, good news. But our country, sometimes or most of the time, they are afraid of politicians. So sometimes they put in neutral gear. Because there's a rumor that my minister is going to go next week, next month. So why I have to move? I wait. This is bad news. But anyway, to answer your question, as I say, go to fortune teller and ask when this guy going to go away. When this guy going to pass away. But at the same time, don't give up. Boost your young generation to be ready. Because every country will die out if they don't change. Trust me. Because AI come along, and AI will be able to reveal, all the hidden treasure that they have somewhere. So, be hopeful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So, now we have 1 hour lunch break. We are going 1 floor down, I think. 1 floor down. It's Market Cafe. 1 hour back in order to go to the breakout rooms, okay? So check your WhatsApp and be on time. Thank you very much. Come for
Bye.